All right, y'all. So the straw broom tumbleweed toupee himself has been found guilty on all charges. Now, of course, we're going to talk about it, read some articles, get into it. I just don't think it'll mean anything while everybody's over here kikiing and celebrating. I want to be more optimistic than that, right? But that would feel like lying to myself. Let's talk about it.
Headlock, got him in a headlock. Music to my ears, I'm about to make your head pop. Headlock, got him in a
All right, y'all. So as usual, all the links to the articles that we will be getting into, that I will be referencing, will be in my description if you want to get into them in full. We just going to be skipping around. Y'all know how we do. Jurors found former President Trump guilty on all 34 counts. All 34, of falsifying business records, making him the first former president to be convicted of a felony. The jurors reached a verdict in the late afternoon after less than 12 hours of deliberation in the hush money criminal case. Trump faced 34 counts of falsifying business records. We all know the situation. Stormy Daniels. Trump denied everything, pleaded not guilty. Trump on Thursday, after the verdict came in, said that he was a very innocent man. He's a very innocent man, and he vowed to keep fighting. He said this was a rigged, disgraceful trial. And unfortunately, he's kind of telling the truth with the next sentence. He said the real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people, and they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here, okay? So yeah, that's what I'm concerned about. I'm just like, everybody over here, you know, up hollering and hooting and hollering and just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, yes, he got 34 counts. I'm just like, okay, but what about the election? So this is one of the most important parts, because a lot of times I think the way that the Democratic establishment and a lot of people who are stands of the Democratic establishment, you know what I mean, super stands of that shit, a lot of times the way they talk about things be so delusional, because they'll be like, oh yeah, Trump got convicted. He about to get arrested. How y'all gonna support him now? And I'm just like, do y'all think that Trump supporters actually care that he got arrested? That's gonna put more fire up underneath them. So I just be thinking, sometimes the way that certain people talk about Trump supporters or Trump's like chances or his future be so delusional, be rooted in delusion, you know? And this is a prime example. Look, Trump's fundraising page crashed shortly after he was convicted because of so much traffic. This other article goes into further detail about it. Former President Trump's fundraising page crashed shortly after he was convicted on 34 counts. And of course, this is an issue that his campaign attributed to an influx of donations. The American people see through crooked Joe Biden's rigged show trial. I love when these politicians point fingers at the other crooked politicians. I'm like, both of y'all crooked. Both of y'all crooked. He said, so many Americans were moved to donate to President Trump's campaign that the WinRed pages went down. We are working on getting the website back online as quickly as possible. WinRed is apparently the official GOP fundraising site. Trump has made it a habit of turning his legal problems into campaign fundraising pitches. And honestly, they be raising the hell out of that money. Like, that's just, it is what it is, right? He used his mugshot after his Georgia indictment last year to bring in millions of dollars in campaign cash. And his campaign is expected to try and capitalize on outrage over Thursday's verdict, right? So yeah, I saw a lot of people rejoicing like, oh my gosh, he's guilty on all 4 counts. Oh my gosh, this is unprecedented because never before has a president been convicted like this, convicted of felonies. Oh my gosh, yes, they got him. And I mean, they doing shit like this. Look at this on TikTok, like they over here dancing, right? Celebrating. But to me, I'm just like, they didn't get him. This is all for show. They've shown over and over that this man can get away with anything. Did he say he could stand up in the middle of wherever and shoot somebody and get away with it? I believe him, because to me, I'm like, yo, y'all impeached him twice. And he still is in the running to become America's next top enslaver. Like, y'all impeached him twice. And not only that, Y'all can't even get him to hush up. Y'all ain't gonna lock him up. Y'all talking, oh, what's next? Y'all aren't gonna lock him up because y'all can't even get him to shut up. Remember those gag orders that y'all tried to put on him during the case? And it didn't work at all. I felt like he was literally laughing in the judge's faces like, you expect me to follow this? And then go fine him $1,000 as if that mean anything. As if a stack mean anything to these people. Like, it's just, y'all, to me, it's a stunt and it's a show. It's a stunt and it's a show. Because if y'all really wanted to get this man, just like y'all get innocent people all the time and lock them up. If y'all wanted to get Trump ass out of here, y'all would have. I don't think y'all are going to do that shit, period. I don't think y'all locking him up. I don't think none of that. But yeah, as for what comes next, the AP says this: now comes the sentencing and the potential for a prison sentence, a lengthy appeal process, and all the while, the presumptive Republican presidential nominee still has to deal with 3 more criminal cases and a campaign that could see him return to the White House. So yeah, there it's essentially already starting out saying what we're saying is that, okay, well, he could potentially serve a prison sentence, but at the end of the day, everybody people are looking at this election, right? So yeah, like we all know, he can still get elected, and I don't think they would dare lock this man up. Also, many people pointed out that it was interesting that citizens who have a felony can't vote, but a person who got convicted of dozens can still be in the running for president. The AP continues, the charge of falsifying business records is a Class E felony in New York, the lowest tier of felony charges in the state. It is punishable by up to 4 years in prison. So that means 0, because it said up to. I think the judge has discretion to give 0 to 4 years in prison for each of the counts. Though the punishment would ultimately be up to the judge, and there's no guarantee he would give Trump behind bars. The Manhattan DA declined to say whether prosecutors would seek prison time. So yeah, I am, when I say 100,000% not expecting Trump to ever see the inside of a jail cell. It's unclear to what extent the judge may factor in the political and logistical complexities of jailing a former president who is running to reclaim the White House. There's always some complexity when it comes to these, like, people in power or people with power, people with coin. It's just a little complex. Throw that motherfucker in jail. Y'all do that shit to everybody else. Throw this all in jail. Other punishments could include a fine or probation. So basically, no punishment at all. Like, girl, a fine to Donald Trump. And it's possible the judge would allow Trump to avoid serving any punishment until after he exhausts his appeals. Trump faces the threat of more serious prison time in the 3 other cases he's facing, but those cases have gotten bogged down by appeals and other legal fights. So it remains unclear whether any of them will go to trial before the November election. And to me, I'm just like, if none of them go to trial before the November election, y'all give him the keys to the kingdom. Oh, he gonna make sure y'all already giving him so much, he not even in office yet. Y'all, you mean to tell me I'm supposed to expect something to come out of these trials after he assumes office in November? Y'all are delusional. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so the only thing that's barely holding this together for me is that Trump can't press the Supreme Court to really do anything about this case directly because he was convicted in state court and not federal court. But it's interesting watching everyone's reaction to this. Like I said, the Democratic establishment and their stands and fans are all rejoicing and making memes as if this person has already been impeached twice, like I said, and still has a very good chance of winning. Like, I get it. Okay, he got convicted. We making jokes and memes. Well, what does it, like, tangibly actually mean? And we're stuck having these conversations and figuring it out while he's already pulling in millions and millions of dollars when it comes to fundraising. This election cycle, this season, is gonna be a disaster. When I say it's gonna be a chaotic mess, they're already doing the DNC thing through Zoom because, you know, Biden can't say more than 2 sentences at a time for his brain start doing jumping jacks and somersaults and shit. So it's just a mess. It's a mess all around. I'm gonna leave with this tweet I saw, and it said this: U.S. presidents have set up torture sites, staged coups, ordered human experiments, invaded entire countries, ethnically cleansed indigenous peoples, and able genocides. That the first presidential conviction ever is over hush money to cover a sex scandal is very telling, I guess. All these, crimes against humanity, girl, right? And the first time that we get a conviction is over this, and he's not even going to jail. He's not going to jail, y'all. He's not going to prison. Y'all imagine how half the country would react. They lock his ass up, bitch. Y'all could even handle January 6th, bitch. They not putting him in jail. They not putting him in jail. Every time these big events happen, like in politics and in government, I always think about like the younger kids who are gonna have to learn about these things in school. It's just like, and to not have the context of what's going on socially, it just, child, this country's been a mess since it started. Let's be clear on that. Learning about history in class, all that shit, been a mess since it started, and this really is not too far from its MO, right? Tell me what you think about this entire situation. Thank you all so much for watching. Love you so much, and make sure that you have a good goddamn evening.
It's a shakedown when a nigga come to town, Single show ya all these bitches gonna drown, and all these pussies get so nervous cause they let me out the pound. It's a shakedown, yeah, pussy bitch, get on the ground.